All right, number 3. We're going to solve this one by factoring as well. This is z squared plus 4z, in parentheses, z squared plus 4z. And that whole thing is squared. And then we have plus 7. And then we have another z squared plus 4z. And then we have plus 12 equals 0. So again, this is x squared, and then your single x, and then that. So just like quadratic, I'm going to factor 1 times 12. Gives me 12. Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. The sign at the back is positive. That tells me to add to get 7. And then the numbers that add to give me 7 are 3 and 4, so it will factor. I'm going to do my 2 sets of parentheses. And then in the front, I'm going to split up the 2 z squared plus 4 terms, 1 in each. Z squared plus 4z. And then z squared plus 4z. And then at the back, I'm going to add my 3 and 4. And then my first sign is positive. That tells me my bigger number, so 4 is positive. And then my second sign is positive. That tells me they're the same. So if that's positive and they're the same, this also has to be positive. All right, then from here, we're going to set both terms equal to 0 and factor. So all we did was end up with 2 more quadratics that we're going to factor again, if possible. So we have z squared plus 4z plus 3 equals 0. And then over here we have z squared plus 4z plus 4 equals 0. So I'm going to do the same factoring process. 1 times 3 is going to give me 3. Factors of 3 are 1 and 3. I would have to add to get 4, and those do add to be 4, so this will factor. I will have a z in each one. Split up your z. 1 and 3 are my numbers. First sign is my bigger number, so 3 is positive. Second sign is positive, tells me the same. All right, so here are my 2 terms. I'm going to set each of these equal to 0 and solve. So z plus 1 equals 0, and z plus 3 equals 0. I will subtract and give me z equals negative 1. Subtract and z equals negative 3. So we get 2 answers from that side. Now over here, 1 times 4 gives me 4. Factors of 4 are 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Second sign is positive. That means I have to add to get 4, and that would be 2 and 2. So it will factor. We're going to split up our z, 1 in the front of each. The numbers at the back, 2 and 2. First sign is my bigger number, 2 and 2. They're both the same. So just give one of them a plus. The second sign says we have the same sign, so they're both going to be positive. This is the same thing. We can look at it as z plus 2 squared, or each separate, but I'm only going to do it once. Z plus 2 equals 0, because it's going to be the same. Subtract 2, and we get z equals negative 2. So that's why we have 3 different answers: negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. All right, and number 4. So this one looks different, but it is the same. We have y to the 2/3 power. And then we have plus 17 y to the 1/3 power. plus 6 equals 0. So again, when I see these, I'm not looking at it as the 2/3 and the 1/3 as they are. I'm thinking of it as, okay, y squared, y to the first power, and 6. I just have that 3 on the bottom. But the relationship is the same. And so that being the case, we're going to factor. So I'm going to do 5 times 6. That's going to give me 30. Factors of 30. 1 and 30. 2 times 15. 3 and 10. 5 and 6. We have to add to get 17. That will be 2 and 15. So this will factor. I'm going to do 2 sets of parentheses. Now if you need for this to be simple, whatever that middle term is, that's always the one you're going to be putting in each parentheses. It's like splitting this up. 1/3 and 1/3 will give you the 2/3. So the 1/3 is the variable that I'm going to be using, y to the 1/3. Now, when you have a coefficient out front, however, things are a little bit more tricky. So we have to put this leading coefficient in the front of both. This is incorrect, but we're going to fix it. It's just that right now, I don't know if the 5 goes here and a 1 here, or a 1 goes here and the 5 goes here. So I'm going to put the 5 in both. And I only do that when I have a coefficient out front. And then my variable that I'm going to use is y to the 1/3 power. Y to the 1/3. Y to the 1/3. Alright, now at the back, my two numbers, 2 and 15. And then same thing. First sign, bigger number. Second sign tells me the same. So this is also plus. Okay, so it has been factored. Now we have to fix what we messed up because they're not both supposed to be 5. So in order to fix it, you just divide, reduce, and then get rid of it. So I cannot divide anything from 2 and 5 and make these numbers smaller. So I'm going to leave this set just like it is. So it's still going to be 5y to the 1/3 plus 2. Now over here between the 5 and the 15, I can divide both of these by 5. So divide both of them by 5 and then just get rid of it. So divide by 5, this will leave you with y to the 1/3. Okay, 5 divided by 5 is 1. We don't have to write that 1 out front. And then 15 divided by 5 is 3. And now at this point, we are done. It's correctly factored. If you were to FOIL this out, you would get back the same thing you have here. Okay, now we're going to set each term equal to 0 and then find our two solutions. So 5y to the 1/3 power plus 2 equals 0. And over here, y to the 1/3 plus 3 equals 0. We're going to subtract 2. Going to leave us with 5y to the 1/3 equals a negative 2 on the other side. Divide by 5. Y to the 1/3 equals negative 2 over 5. And now we got to get rid of this 1/3 power. So the way you get rid of a third is a fractional. You have to raise it to that. So think about multiplying fractions. So like over here to the side, if I have 1 over 3 to get rid of division by 3, I have to multiply by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so it's going to get rid of that 1/3. Same thing here, but with exponents, you just raise it to the 3rd power. So what I have to do here is raise both sides to the 3rd power. Property of exponent says power to a power, you multiply. Over here, I also have to raise it to the 3rd power. So that's the new. So the 3 will cancel out division by 3 and leave us with y. And then over here, we have to do 2 to the 3rd and 5 to the 3rd. So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 will give us a negative 8. And then 5 times 5 times 5 will give us 125. So that's one solution. Then over here we would subtract 3. and then that would give us a negative 3, and then same thing, raise it to the third power to get rid of that fraction. And this will give us y equals negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 will give us a negative 27. Here, negative 8 divided by 125. 125. And then